Jayson Tatum. Let's talk about the Boston Celtics. Jayson Tatum ruptured his Achilles tendon last season, right? And just to put up, and he just put up 25, 11, and 7 his first playoff game. Back then, the Celtics won by 32. Jaylen Brown matched him with 26. The two combined to shoot 20 for 38 from the field. Boston's offense was efficient from the opening tip. On Philly's side, Tyrese Maxey managed 21 points, 8 assists, but had no support. Paul George was limited to 17, and without Embiid, the Sixers had no rim protection or interior presence to even slow down Boston's attack. Now, that 123 to 91 final was never in doubt. So, Matthew, is this Celtics team's better than last year's championship squad now that Tatum is back?
Are they better? Well, they're pretty good. So they didn't win the championship last year. The Thunder won it last
year. The one before that.
I'm talking
about like championship
gotcha.
quality. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think they might be better, but I think the rest of the league is better around them. Because I think the Thunder are just as good as anybody in the league. I think the Spurs are just as good as anybody in the league. The Pistons, I don't think that about. So I think, in terms of what's going on in the East, they're a lot better. They've lapped the competition in the East. Obviously, Milwaukee fell off, not even in the playoffs. Detroit already struggling. If you're Boston, you love that you just came out and took care of business. You didn't mess around with it. 123 to 91, right. You're winning the game the whole time. And if you're Philly, I mean, there's a lot to worry about. That I can't even count the issues that Philly has, especially if Embiid's not coming back. So if you're Boston, you just said, Embiid's out, we're not going to play with our food. We're going to go out and get this. And Tatum, what I love about Tatum since he's come back from his injury is he's a rebounder now, man. I mean, he's been getting double-digit boards in all these games. He's playing aggressive.
And Jaylen told him to.
Well, you know what, man?
Jaylen said, I'm number one. You go ahead and grab them rebounds.
Well, there's a little bit to that, I think, in the sense that it felt like, whose team is this going to be when Tatum comes back because of the season Brown's having? Yeah. And what Tatum has said is, I'm not going to complain and moan about this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go play basketball. And he's been the team leader in assists and rebounds in several of their games since then, all while playing great perimeter defense. I mean, he's doing everything. He was a plus 20 last night. Jaylen Brown was a plus 23. And they're moving off each other in ways that are like seamless, I feel like, where they're getting their buckets within the offense. I mean, sometimes Jaylen Brown forces up a couple, but for the most part, they're both getting their buckets within the flow of the offense. And it's not like a your turn, my turn thing, or here's my ISO, here's your ISO. So I love what we're getting with both of them. And I love how Tatum has just morphed his game into being some dominant rebounder. And so he can contribute in ways that aren't scoring. So I do think Tatum and Brown's games are more complete than they were a couple years ago, even when they won the title. And you obviously you don't have Porzingis and you don't have a few of the other pieces you had that year, but to have a 6-man like Peyton Pritchard, to have Derek White on the team. You got some good veterans, what they call not stars, but stars in their role. And I really like what this team can do. And I'm almost getting to the point where I would be surprised if they didn't win the East, especially if Detroit continues to struggle in their round one series.
Right. All right. So listen, on top of that, but also Tatum coming back from that Achilles from last year and looking that sharp is really remarkable, Matthew. So most players need months to regain that explosiveness, right? And he was getting to spots like he never missed any time. But the Sixers, dealing with the Sixers without Embiid, where their weakest possible test case, Philly's a play-in team, not a real playoff challenger. We won't know what this Boston team actually is until they face someone with interior size, defensive versatility. The East bracket is set up for a potential really Celtics versus Cavs or Celtics versus Knicks matchup in the second round. That's where we'll learn if Tatum's comeback is truly complete, if he's back to where he needs to be.
So the Celtics will be playing the winner of the Cavaliers and the Knicks and the Hawks. I believe.
Right.
No. The Knicks and the Raptors. Right? Who the Knicks playing? Knicks are playing the Hawks.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I'm looking at this bracket. Man, I guess where did my bracket go? I'm missing my bracket now. Yeah, it looks like they're going to be playing the winner of the Knicks and the Hawks. So I don't think that's going to be. I expect the Knicks to be the winner of that series, and I don't necessarily think that's like the toughest challenge for Boston. I think I don't see anybody on the Knicks that are really going to give Boston trouble. The matchup that I think could be interesting for them if they have to play them at some point before the finals is if Cleveland makes it to the third round. I think Cleveland is a team that could the way they're playing together right now, and it looks like they're about to beat Toronto right now to go up in that series 2-0. And I think everybody says like getting Harden on that team and inserting him in as your second best player, which I think we're going to talk about, that has changed the face of that team. And that they look like a real contender, and they're peaking at the right time. So, I mean, the Knicks are good this year, and, you know, going to New York and playing in Madison Square Garden is tough, but I don't know necessarily that that's going to be this massive test. I think the bigger test looms with Detroit or Cleveland. And really, I think at this point of the year right now, I think Cleveland's looking tougher than Detroit. So at some point, they'll get a real test in the East, but they're not going to get it this round, especially with Embiid out. And you wonder, even if Embiid comes back, he's probably not coming back at full game shape. So if you're playing this version of Paul George, who's only taken 8 shots in the game, and besides Maxey, you're only dealing with VJ Edgecombe and guys like that, Quentin Grimes, the starting center, Adam Bona. Like, I mean, this might be a cakewalk. If Embiid doesn't come back, this might be wrapped up in 4 games for Boston.
Right. And I guess I meant to say, the Celtics, not the second round, but they could potentially face the Cavs because they'll get past either the Knicks or the Atlanta Hawks. I don't really see that being a problem for them.
I mean, the Knicks have some good players, but I don't think Brunson and Towns add up to a Brown and a Tatum. But, we'll see. That's why they play the